Okay, so we're gonna go over the menu of a Rockford Control 1500 on an azimuth 33-ton press. So when the key switch is to run, you're gonna see that display here. So you see the angle of the press, which is the actual angle of the resolver on the machine. You have the stroke per minute, which is the actual speed of the machine. So if I put the press in continuous and cycle it, you're gonna see the actual speed of the machine here, which is 71, 73 strokes per minute. The second line is the batch and stroke counter. So as you can see, I have a stroke count expire, so I can preset an amount of stroke that I want the press to do in the press menu. Then you have the mode of operation. So here you have continuous, you have single, and then hinge to jog the machine. So and the third one here, well, the bottom right is the stroke stopping time of the machine, which is 125 milliseconds right now. If I put the key switch to program, you're gonna get a menu here. So the first one is the user input. The user inputs are inputs you can use inside the control panel. So these inputs are actually wired here. Right now you see it's green LEDs, so it's seeking a PNP inputs, 24 volts from the press control. So you can either wire the die blocks and inputs from other equipment if you'd like. The brake monitor is the brake monitoring time, where you can preset in case of a slipping of the air clutch. So you have the fault set point and warning set point depending on the stopping time of the machine. The counter is the counter you saw earlier on the press. So you can either put a preset counter of, let's say, 10 strokes. So if I put the press to run now, I can cycle the machine, and then after 10 strokes, the press will stop. And then you need to clear the batch count here. System setup. System setup is where you're gonna mostly use the reference cycle in case of a loss of angle on your press. So the reference cycle is to re-zero the resolver on your machine. So I'm gonna bring the press to top dead center. So I'm almost at 0 right now. So I would need to basically verify mechanically that I'm at 0. Then I would be able to run a reference cycle on my machine. So let's say I am at 0 right now, I can run a reference cycle. So it's gonna say press must be at top dead center, press yes to a start or no to abort. I'm gonna say yes, and then I'm gonna be able to start the press. So I'm gonna have to hold the dual palm button here and cycle the machine. So you're gonna see sync on, sync off, and motion reference, which means the reference is complete. So you can basically just escape that. We're not gonna go over the other option here, as they're not useful for right now. Angle settings. The angle setting is where you set the single stroke T-stop angle. So to make sure the press stop at top dead center. The continuous T-stop angle is when you're gonna run in continuous, then you can also adjust the T-stop angle. Auto op angle is where your the dual palm, it's gonna keep cycling even if you release the dual palm. So that should be to 180 degrees there. Light curtain mute angle is the same. If you have light curtains, then it mute the angle after 180 degrees, which means even if you cross the light curtain on its way up, the press will keep moving on its way up. The time setting here is the anti-tie down, which is by default 200 milliseconds. The time inch is the most useful one, which is 90 milliseconds right now for that machine. So depending on the machine you have, the time hinge, you can modify it to reduce the inching time. So let's say I put that to 60 milliseconds right now, and I put it to run and put it to inch. I'm right now at 45 degrees. If I hold the dual palm, now I'm at 60 degrees. So that means when I have my time inch to 60 milliseconds, I do approximately 15 degrees. So I could either lower it to get a smaller amount of angle there. So right now at 40 milliseconds, it's not even moving. So I would need to bring it a bit more up. So now it's going almost degrees by degrees. The optional mode is several mode of operation you can have. You can have continuous on demand, which means you're going to be seeking inputs from an external equipment. And then there's another one, which is the automatic single stroke, which is a single stroke mode of operation, but also controlled by, for instance, a robot. The Pls Outputs is where you can actually program relay to activate depending on the angle of the crankshaft. So you can wire in several equipment such as a feeder or the pilot release. If you have a pneumatic pilot release, you can program it here directly to activate automatically to your machine.